Hi, and welcome to Nothing Ventured, Nothing Game. I'm your host with the most, your DM Jared, and today I'm joined by Steve.
Yep.
What we're talking about is madness. So why don't you join us and get a little crazy? So welcome back. And we are here to talk about madness and our homebrew of the madness condition, with quotation marks around that. And this was actually created due to the fact that Petersen Games has sent us their awesome Cthulhu Mythos. Here's the book right here. Oh, look at that dope Cthulhu picture right here. Cthulhu Mythos books. Thank you very much, Petersen Games. We appreciate it. So Petersen Games has done a ton of stuff with the Lovecraftian Cthulhu Mythos lore. And as we were flipping through the book, I'm actually working on a kind of weird campaign loosely based in Lovecraftian universe. One of our players, Zach, is running a Call of Cthulhu campaign. You can check it out on in our YouTube playlist.
Up here. Here.
Somewhere.
And there'll be a card pointing
somewhere.
There'll be a card. There'll be a thing somewhere.
There'll be a thing. Just click it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And as we were flipping through the book, right, we found on page 91, they had this really cool thing. It's insanity and dread. There's a whole chart. Let me just put that over my face real quick, bang, so you could see it. And the cool thing was they had these stages of dread and terror that would be inflicted upon your character because you're seeing these wild, crazy things and driving you mad. Wow, craziness. And there was 10 levels. So we were like, oh, let's homebrew it. And here we are talking about the homebrew. So we looked at a lot of things from Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and this homebrew is great for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And we were looking at different things, and we realized the one key factor was most poisons and other conditions like that change your character only go to about stage 6. So Steve crafted up 6 stages of madness. Now, when we were looking at madness and how it works, there was something about it. We kept struggling. We kept like, okay, this is an affliction. This is a condition, but most of those kind of come off of you. And at certain levels, they just pop off, right, Steve? Like anything kind of past 5th level, you could just cast a spell, use battle medicine or alchemic potions, and poof, your character is fine.
Yeah, so some of these things become trivial at higher levels.
Yeah. So Steve did what Steve does best. You know, he's a scholar. He is a man. He should be a lawyer because he'll find the thing that gets you off or gets you or hooks you to the crime. So Steve just dug through the books, burning through everything, and he texted me. He's like, "Oh, I got it," and he brought it to my attention. And what was it called? Virulent?
Yeah. So we designed a new affliction type. So there's I think 3 or 4 different affliction types, and none of those individual ones really hammered home what we were trying to do. So we kind of took aspects of all of them and kind of combined them into a new trait called madness. So madness is a type of affliction, and madness has the virulent trait. The virulent trait basically means every time you try to get rid of madness, it's harder. So a normal affliction, if you're trying to reduce, like someone stabbed you with a poison dagger, and you make your save and you fail, you're at stage 1. Well, next turn you make your save and you succeed, you go back to stage 0 and you're not poisoned anymore. Great. Awesome. With virulent, you need to make 2 saves and you have to succeed them both. So it takes 2 turns to get rid of it, or 2 saves, whether it's, once per turn, once per day, once per week. It takes you a lot longer to recover from something that's virulent. So you need 2 consecutive normal saves or 1 critical success to go down 1 stage. So it's a lot harder to get rid of. And the second thing we also did is you only make a madness save once a day. So if you already have madness, in the beginning, you guys take a long rest, you sleep it off, you wake up, you immediately make a check to see if your madness goes down, stays the same, or gets worse.
So yeah. So once you've kind of gotten the madness, there are certain ways of treating it, but also Steve wrote up a whole thing on gaining and treating. Most of them work off of the 4 stages of success. So the first one, gaining madness, right? So this is like as you're fighting something, you see something, you walk into the wrong room, you rolled a really bad, a monster made you realize you're actually a character being played by a scrubby nerf herder like myself, and your character now has a sudden moment of, existential dread. They gain madness, right? So this isn't for, again, this isn't for like, oh man, you rolled a 1 on perception, gain madness, or it's supposed to be very, very visceral, and it's supposed to affect your character. So gaining madness, you have your 4 steps, and super simple. Steve, why don't you tell us the 4 steps when gaining madness?
Sure, I can do that. So if you critically succeed your check, you're fine. You're not affected by the ability at all. You're hunky dory. You can easily just I'm not a character. That's just some hogwash. If you succeed, it's like critical success where you're not affected by madness, but you gain frightened 1. So you're okay, but it's still wigged out a little bit. On a failure, you go to stage 1 madness. And you get all the effects associated with whatever stage 1 is. On a critical failure, it's the same as failure, except instead of going to stage 1, you go to stage 2. Pretty simple.
And remember, this is a 6-stage step program. So stage 2, you're so, but okay, you've now, I got stage 1 madness, Steve. And where do I go from here? I'm now taking a long rest, right? So an 8-hour sleep. I go take a nap. My compatriots are like, hey, we can't really deal with you the way you are. Why don't we take a long 8-hour rest? So what happens after the 8-hour rest? And you created a whole 4 success program for that. So take us through it.
So unlike poisons, which you're making a save every round, every minute, or some diseases, it's several days. Every day when you wake up, or every day during your morning preparations, your daily preparations, you make a check, you make your madness save. And it's just like every other save. And there's 4 successes. If you critically succeed, now since remember this, we went back to explaining what virulent is. This is hard to get rid of. This is messing you up. So on a critical success, you reduce it to 1 by 1 step. So if you're madness 3, you go to madness 2 and then gain everything that madness 2 says you gain. Because it's virulent, you need 2 consecutive successes to get down stage 1, 2 regular consecutive successes to get down 1 stage. So say it's Monday, you make your check. Great, you rolled an 18 plus whatever, plus your save. You track down that you successfully saved once. Well, but you still take whatever stages you had for that day. So you're still stage 3. And then the next day, Tuesday, let's assume that you didn't go up any more madness since then. You sleep another 8 hours. You make another check. Yeah, you roll another 17. Great. Now you go madness goes from stage 3 to stage 2. And then you get everything that stage 2 says. It's pretty simple. It's just hard to get rid of. You also, on a success, heal when you rest. You normally heal your level times your constitution modifier and hit points. But because you kind of messed up and you didn't really sleep that well because you're still trying to process everything that happened to you, you only heal your level amount of hit points. So person with a constitution of 4 who's 5th level would normally heal 20 hit points. You would only actually heal 5. You'd only heal your levels with hit points because it was a rough night. On a failure, you don't increase or decrease any stages, but you just don't heal anything from resting. You heal 0 hit points from resting. You can still heal in other means, and you still do all your other normal daily preparation stuff, but you just don't get any healing from resting. On a critical failure, you still don't gain any healing from resting, which you also increase your madness by 1 stage, which is really rough.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's pretty rough. But again, this isn't, as Steve pointed out to me, my original thought, he claimed it was something known as the death spiral, which if you've been in the TTRPG community long enough or in the board game community, you know the death spiral. It's kind of the stacking failures. You failed once, now it's going to be even worse for your next chance, and even worse for your next chance, and even worse for your next chance, and then you just spiral into doom. That was something we wanted to avoid with this system. Now, also the cool thing is Steve created 2 charts, right? 6 stages, one based in sanity, so more mental based, and another for physical. And the physical was kind of inspired by the zombie outbreak, where you're bit and you don't realize you're bit, and then you go your first stage of madness, but it's more like a virus, right? So it's causing that madness. Or it's very reminiscent of the what was that? The Last of Us video game with the spores. You inhale spores, or something like toxic gets in you, and it starts to drive your body to this craziness. Last of Us style, you know. And Steve created both systems. So if you're playing a Lovecraftian game, a Cthulhu-based game, and you're like, oh man, I need a sanity meter check system, boom, you got it. If you're playing a game where maybe there isn't magic or not a lot of magic, but you still have alchemist and you want to use zombies and have a zombie outbreak system happen, we got you covered. So the cool thing is, Steve did all this hard work for you. We hope you appreciate it. And so if you want to grab this awesome PDF that Steve created, you could grab it earlier by checking out our Patreon, or you could grab it now because this video has probably come out after it's been up on our Patreon for quite some time. So you could grab it now at our website. And that website is, Steve?
It's mbngpodcast.com. And also see the description below for the website link.
Pew, pew, pew. It's in the bottom. So, as always, if you could do us a solid for our small channel, like this video. And if you like our content, subscribe. Or if you feel real fancy and you want to throw in your comments on your madness system or any kind of systems that you've played with or homebrewed into your campaign, let us know in the comments below. So from all of us here at Nothing Ventured, Nothing Game, want to say have a great evening, have a great day. Goodbye.
Later.